Welcome to the CIO Watercooler TV. My name's David Savage, and today we're joined by Anna. Anna, you're the former CTO at Morrisons. Out of interest, how did you get into that role? What's your background? Because I suppose CTO is that one of those interesting roles where people might have come into it from a number of different pathways, right?
Absolutely. Well, I think I'm the only, and if anyone, if I'm wrong, you can let me know, but I think I'm the only CIO who has an art history degree.
Right.
I don't think I've found another one. But what I love is I describe myself as a people and change leader. And what I absolutely love is being in organisations that understand how technology can really help enable growth and enable turnarounds. So my two CIO roles have been at Halfords and at Morrisons. Both were turnaround stories. Both were retailers who knew they had to do things very differently in order to keep growing and to keep satisfying their customers.
I suppose the fact that you do have an art history degree is very interesting because it says a lot about modern technology, right? If you think about skills requirements and what we're increasingly asking people to have, I suppose it is that T-shaped kind of model of an individual, of a professional being able to cover a lot of different subjects but then go deep in one particular area.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I bring is a different approach. I'm a more creative leader, so I will look around a problem and I will come up, and I like to collaborate with my teams. I like to involve people. My approach is very much one of coaching. I can be directive if I need to be, but I would much prefer a collaborative environment where I can work with my teams. And I think that is the future of technology leadership, and with the digital skills coming in, I think we're wanting people who are broader, have got different and diverse and creative thinking, but absolutely can understand the commerciality of technology, because there is no point in the old days, and the technology departments I've grown up in have been very inward looking and have been around technology for technology's sake, more efficient, bigger, better. But now we're looking at, technology should only be in place if it's delivering something for the customer, making colleagues' lives easier and making the business profitable. If you've got all three of those, then technology is doing its job. But apart from that, there is no point to technology. There has to be a point.
It's fascinating that you describe that kind of creativity skill set needed, because I was having a conversation with the founder of a digital agency a couple of months ago, and he said a similar thing. He said that the future technologists will probably have kind of English and arts and drama rather necessarily than some of the sciences in their education, because they'll need to be flexible in their thinking to work alongside automation. Is that something that you kind of agree with? Do you see the industry moving in that direction?
I agree with it. I think certainly having the creativity to look beyond what we have today and what the future of technology is and the emerging technologies. We've got automation, we've got robotics, we've got artificial intelligence, virtual reality. All of those are actually very creative in what they do and the way that you can apply them. But also I think having those kind of skill sets makes you a much better people leader. I think we've all worked for technology leaders who've been tech first and people second, and it hasn't motivated and led teams as well as I see some of my peers doing today, and hopefully I do as well. Because being people-led first, my whole job is creating an environment for my team to flourish, because they're the experts. I'm not an expert I can't possibly be an expert on everything that's technology, but that's what my team are there for. And if you can harness those people and give them an environment where they are absolutely flourishing and they're enabled and they're motivated and they feel like they've got the space and the creativity to do some great things, then you're winning. And I think that really, really works.
You mentioned about being close to customers, I think, at the beginning of the interview. That's a theme, again, that's coming through very strongly now from everybody. You've got to be close to your customers, UX, UI, which is interesting because it makes perfect sense, but 5 or 6 years ago, we were beginning to worry that developers might be too distant from the customer. So that's quite a rapid change in a short period of time. Do you think the skills within the development and engineering community are there to make sure that we do deliver on the great rhetoric of being close to customers?
I think with retail, we've always been customer obsessed. But I think technology hasn't been, because I don't think technology has been at the heart of a lot of those businesses. I think once we get the fact that technology is an essential kind of heartbeat of an organisation, and particularly a retailer, then you understand that actually we've got to get closer to the customer. It's one of the best things I love about retail,
Right.
is that you're close to the customer as retail, because you can make or break a customer's experience with you, whether it's your online experience or it's in the store. Wherever that customer is interacting with you, technology is a part of it nowadays. So we can absolutely delight a customer, but at the same time you can make their experience frustrating, shocking, annoying. So yeah, technology has a very direct impact to retail customers, but also to retail colleagues. And I don't think we talk enough about how much better we need to make colleagues' lives, because you know, these big retail organisations have hundreds of thousands of employees and colleagues. Unless you get it right for them, excuse me, unless you get it right for them, then your customers aren't going to be happy. If the ideal is when you've got a solution that is technology based, but it enables the colleagues' lives to be easier, and therefore you're going to get a much better customer experience.
Now, there is a definite skills gap at the moment. I also saw an interesting stat along the lines of that children in school today, 63% of them will be employed in jobs that don't currently exist. So if we've got a skills gap now, that's only going to be exacerbated. What practical steps could we take to try and make sure that skills gap doesn't widen further still?
Well, I think we have to train and teach our children to have their own minds and to have broad skills. So it's even happening today. I can't, in all honesty, go out and just buy all the same skills that I used to. So a single project manager, business analyst, an architect. I need people with the right mindsets first, and then I can train the skills. And I would much rather internally train the right people with the right mindset and the right loyalty to the company. And I'll train them in the skills, but you can't buy that mindset. So I would encourage kids today to be broad in their outlook, to really understand customers, to really understand what it is they want out of a service, out of an organisation, and base everything on that, because ultimately that's what the business is there for. So I think the broader the mindset, engaging with change, enjoying the fact that you're adding value to a society, community, a business, then you can be trained in skills much later. It is all about the mindset.
Well, look, it's a fascinating area, and thank you for coming in and sharing your perspective on it.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed today's CIO Water Cooler, why don't you go over to ciowatercooler.co.uk, where you will find far more from the TV channel, lots more interviews that you can digest in your own time.